We would invite all who would care to join us in standing with a recitation of the Lord's Prayer, followed by a moment of silence. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. It's now 7 o'clock. Shelby City Council meeting is called to order. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the roll call, please, Mr. Crum.
Mr. Robb.
Here.
Mr. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Cutler.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Here.
I will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal from December the 18th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin to dispense with the reading of the journal from December 18th, 2023. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Roberts.
Yay.
Mr. Cutler.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yay.
Mr. Robb.
Yay.
That motion passes. We now come to the time for public comment. If anyone would like to make public comment to council, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and make your comment. Hearing and seeing none, move forward to reports from standing and special committees. The Community and Economic Development Committee did not meet. The Public Works and General Operations Committee did not meet. And the Parking Committee did not meet. And then the Sidewalk Committee did meet. And Councilman Martin, I believe you have a report for council this evening.
I do, City Council. This is my final committee report, and so we'll be submitting this as the official final report for the ad hoc sidewalk committee. The committee was charged with looking at sidewalks in the city and investigating the following. 1, is there a plan or master plan for sidewalks in our community? 2, what is the safety situation in certain areas of town? Should council exercise its authority under the charter to put them in? 3, is there anything in our charter or ordinances that need changed? The committee started by exploring and gathering a variety of information. We stated in our several reports to council we would be making recommendations that would be data-based and not emotion-based. We started by prioritizing areas that we would look at into 2 tiers. Tier 1 areas were Shelby Avenue, Plymouth Street, and Broadway. Tier 2 areas were Parkwood, Glenwood, Technology Parkway, Mickey Road, 2nd Street, Oak Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street, and East Whitney. We took and gathered the following information: public testimony, traffic data from the police department, testimony from Shelby's project coordinator on subdivision regulations, commissioned a traffic study for select areas to see if traffic warranted sidewalks that we have yet to receive the results on, therefore our data set is incomplete. The Shelby Safe Routes to School travel plan. We did, through our course of public testimony, report several deficient sidewalks to the mayor for correction. Those spots were taken care of or are in the process of being taken care of. We had hoped to deliver this final report around Labor Day, but circumstances around the needed traffic study precluded us from doing so. Because of Mr. Gates' retirement, we feel compelled to submit this final report. Based on all of the information gathered, the following is our final report. Per Robert's rules, once this report is received by council, this committee will be dissolved. Final ad hoc sidewalk committee report by Councilman Martin and Councilman Gates. 1, there is not, nor has there ever been, a master plan for the creation and implementation of sidewalks in existing built areas that don't have sidewalks currently. Anywhere that the city has expected sidewalks has been due to existing subdivision regulations and in a proper manner for new builds. 2, this committee does not recommend changing any of our existing ordinances or our charter, or to remove from council the authority to quote-unquote declare that certain specified sidewalks, curbing, or gutters shall be constructed or repaired. First, it would be merely political smoke and mirrors, as our ordinance is simply an affirmation of our authority under Title VII of the Ohio Revised Code, and we would still possess that authority whether we removed it from our charter or not. Second, this would be foolhardy to do. The charter gives necessary direction for the exercise of that authority and protects our citizens in doing so. Removing those protections for our citizens while not being able to remove the authority council would have would negatively impact our citizens from the actions of future councils. 3, due to incomplete data from the traffic studies, we only have the data that we were able to gather to make our final determination. Based on this, the committee does not recommend that council declare any specified sidewalks be constructed, as there is, at this time, insufficient evidence to justify their construction. Another observation that is being submitted by this committee is the amount of false or misleading testimony provided by people to this committee. We believe that future committees of this magnitude should have testimony presented under oath to match the magnitude of the committee's importance. Mayor, that is our final report.
All right, thank you, Councilman Martin. And again, I should say probably more specifically, the ad hoc sidewalk committee basically means when needed or as needed, and now that committee is no longer needed. So thank you, and that report will be on file for all to read in the future. So thank you and Councilman Gates for your work on that topic. All right, move forward to reports of city officials. I have no report this evening. Things will begin to wind up here, of course, in the new year. So looking forward to giving some more detailed reports in the future. Although I do want to say on behalf of all of us here, we welcome Councilman Eric Cutlet to the table, and as he begins his new term of public service, and looking forward to serving with Councilman Cutlet. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
So that is no report from the mayor. Mr. Crum, is there any report from Director of Finance?
Just a special thanks to our Deputy Director of Finance, who's already well underway in closing the books for 2023. And I spent some time today doing all the purchase requisitions that need to be done on the first day of January for 2024. And on another note, it must have been a Christmas miracle. Somehow we did actually make that $5 million income tax estimate that we had we put in appropriations up. Kudos to everyone. Thank you to the taxpayers for all of their for all of their great service in getting their returns filed and such, and definitely to the tax department for the collections. So that's pretty much all I have, sir.
Well, the $5 million mark is good news indeed. Thank you for sharing that. Any comments or questions from Mr. Crum regarding his brief report? If not, Mr. Eister, I believe, is still out with family, and Mr. Geis is not here this evening. Is there any new business to be brought before council this evening? Hearing none, move to unfinished business. Yes, Mr. Crum, Mr. McGough.
With the Pro Park Trail, just a little update. I'm still in contact with folks regarding that. Mike Morris with the state contacted me, and so we're on the radar. And there's a gentleman, Jerry Ferris, with the State Honor Guard, and so at this point, we're not going to be moving quickly on this because they don't have enough Honor Guard to do anything, so it might have to wait till spring. So we're going to be moving forward on this, and we've made the contacts, and so we have the information, so we'll be moving forward.
Very good. Sounds like a plan. Thank you. Any other unfinished business? Hearing none, we'll move forward to legislation. Mr. Crum.
Ordinance number 36, 2023, amending chapter 1042 sewer regulations, section 1042.08, construction standards and specifications of the codified ordinances of the city of Shelby, Ohio. Move for second reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin for the second reading of ordinance number 36, 2023. Discussion. Mr. Martin.
Nothing there. It was brought up that what is the exact correct title of the quote-unquote superintendent of streets and sewers, and I have that, the correct title is Superintendent of Service Department. And so there are 4 places in the legislation where it says Superintendent of Streets and Sewers. I would like to, with unanimous consent, change that to read Superintendent of Service Department.
All right, with unanimous consent, Councilman Martin is making the recommendation that we change all 4 places where it reads Superintendent of, Public Service, no, what did it say again, Mr. Martin?
The Superintendent
Of
of
streets.
Of Streets.
Streets and sewers.
Streets and Sewers, to be changed in all 4 places to read Superintendent of Service Department, correct? Okay. I think everyone pretty well knows what the idea is. Are there any objections to making those 4 changes? All right, if not, those 4 changes will be amended to read Superintendent of Service Department. Mr. Martin.
And I have submitted those changes to Mr. Crum, so he knows exactly where.
Very good. Very good, thank you. All right. Any other discussion? Mr. Cutler?
Yeah, I noticed upon reading this, on section K, so most of this is referring to the sewer laterals, so most of our homes in this city have basements. So generally, the sewer lateral is the lowest utility coming in, but it reads crosses over. So generally, for us, it would be under. So I move that we insert crosses over or under, and then where it says above, put above or below.
I'm just reading this, but I wrote that down. Okay. Is there a second to that motion? So we have, you made a motion to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Cutler and a second by Darren Roberts. In section K, paragraph K, to change the wording, any sewer laterals that cross over or under would be the insertion of 2 words, and then continuing other ground infrastructure shall be placed 18 inches above or below the other infrastructure. All right, any discussion on that motion to amend? Mr. Martin.
I don't necessarily have a problem with this per se, but I would like to get input from Mr. Insman on this before we change this. Simply because the way it reads, if something is below the infrastructure, there's no distance requirement, and I'm pretty sure that probably has to do with the actual distance that would cause you to do below. 18 inches may be excessive. This only, as it reads, if the sewer lateral crosses over, it just has to have an 18-inch gap from something. It doesn't preclude any, it doesn't speak to whether it is actually below. But I just want to get Mr. Insman's input on if that would be needed, but also if that may be tedious to those who are have to now have a minimum inch requirement for sewer being below. But we have a 3rd reading, so you definitely can get between now and then Mr. Insman's input.
So my question would be, Mr. Cutler, do you want to have Mr. Insman's input before we actually make that motion at the 3rd reading? So if you would care to, you could withdraw this motion, and then we'll talk to Mr. Insman and see if we want to make that.
Okay, I'll withdraw the motion
Okay.
until the 3rd reading.
Okay, the motion has been withdrawn. Okay, thank you. All right. That's the luxury of 3 readings, for sure. All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Roberts. Yay. Mr. Cutlip.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin. Mr. Rob.
Yay.
Ordinance number 36, 2023 passes. Do you have any miscellaneous business? Mr. McLaughlin?
Mr. Mayor, our next meeting, will that be on this Tuesday, the 16th? Since it's Martin Luther King Day?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing I have, could we review the committee assignments quickly, or?
I do not have them in front of me, didn't I get my package? Okay. Thank you. Very happy to. As you know, the mayor sets the committee assignments, and we have a little bit, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Some things have changed, some things are the same. So Finance and Personnel Committee for the next 2 years, as we see it right now, the Councilman Martin as the chair, and Mr. McLaughlin, Councilman McLaughlin as the member. The Community and Economic Development Committee, will be Councilman Eric Cutlick will be the chair, and Councilman Rob will be the member. Then the Utilities and Streets Committee, Councilman McLaughlin will be the chair, and Councilman Cutlick will be the member. Then Safety, Darren Roberts the chair, and Councilman Martin is the member. And then Public Works and General Operations, Councilman Rob will be the chair, and Councilman Roberts will be the member of that committee. Some of the times have changed down below, and so just make sure you keep an eye on those time frames for meeting. I appreciate every council member working to help us find a good time to meet. Most of them are 3:30 or 2 o'clock, so that's the way it kind of shakes out this year.
Can we review this real quick? I want to make sure I don't miss a meeting.
Yes, Finance and Personnel Committee, it's very, did you get a sheet?
I do.
Oh, we'll make sure you get one.
Okay.
But it's, and then maybe I'll just make sure you get a copy of this.
Okay.
Rather than do all of those. But that should have been in your packet, and I apologize for that. Okay. All right, we'll get you that. Thank you. Any other miscellaneous business that you brought before council this evening? Mr. Martin?
Just a hearty welcome to our new member, Mr. Collins. Good to have
And I guess it goes almost without saying Happy New Year, and let's make it a good year, working together. Okay. And for the miscellaneous business, Mr. Martin.
Mayor, I move council adjourns.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Martin, the most senior member of council now, and a second by Mr. Roberts. Roll call, please.
Mr. Roberts. Yay. Mr. Cutlip.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yay.
Mr. Rob.
Yay.
The motion passes. Council adjourns at 7:18.